this is your way too early reaction to the, or maybe not so early. This is your way too early reaction to Love Is Blind reunion, live reunion. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it. We're gonna jump into the pros and the cons of the Love Is Blind reunion, reactions to the couples, who's together, who's not, the blase blase. So let's get into it. So let's start with the pros. It happened. Like, they showed a reunion. That's like the biggest pro I can think of. Uh, and yeah, I think it kind of stops there. That's the pro. It happened. Because let's just be honest, it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. They went and promised us a live on Netflix that only has one other previous live event, which is the Chris Rock comedy special that aired a couple months ago. That I don't know if they assumed there would be the same amount of traffic or what, but everybody from around the world watches Love Is Blind. You know what I'm saying? Only select few people, not a few, but select people find Chris Rock, entertaining. So like, I don't know what Netflix did or who had to get fired after that event, but it was botched completely. Waiting almost 2 hours for it to show, for it to not be live. My conspiracy theory is that they didn't want it to be live in the first place, but that's just my take on it. I'm take off my conspiracy hat now. Yeah, and that was pretty much that. I mean, there was really no reason for them to promise us it to be live. We didn't ask for it to be live. I don't know, like if somebody did say so in the comments below, I didn't ask for it to be live. We just wanted, from a collective, what I understood on social media was we just wanted the right questions to be asked. And on my unpopular opinion about the questions that were asked is that I think they hit on some pretty good questions. Now, the con to that is I think Vanessa Lachey was very harshly grilling the men when she should have been more harshly grilling the women. I think Nick did a good job of balancing between both and asking the questions more so. In that case, I think Vanessa kind of was trying to pick at things that were already answered, and it was just kind of driving me nuts. I would prefer if Nick gonna do what Nick did last night, going forward, and let it just be Nick, and we can leave Vanessa at home. I'm with that. All right, now we're gonna get into the couples. So we're gonna start with the obvious, which everyone knew. Brett and Tiff still together, seem to be very much in love. I didn't see any red flags. I didn't see anything that seemed to be out of order. They said their piece about how they knew they fell in love and so on and so forth, and we already knew all this. Now my reaction online was that people wanted to give more time to Brett and Tiff. I can see that, but my thing is, what more are we gonna ask them in the realm of a reunion? What more are we gonna ask them? For anything, if anything, maybe we get more from them after the altar, that kind of thing. But as far as a reunion, I think they could have not shown up, and I would have been completely fine because we already knew they was good. They was Gucci. As long as they checked in, they could have pulled the Jackie and Josh and just checked in. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, we got Tiff and Brett. They were fine. Nothing really to speak on there. Now we have a surprising, for me at least, I was wrong in my last video. I'll accept that I was wrong. The surprising happy marriage, apparently, of Chelsea and Kwame. Didn't see that coming. Slapped me like a ton of bricks. I didn't see that coming at all. But they seem to be good. Their whole thing was, hey, y'all only got to see but so much of our relationship. And unfortunately for us, a part of that, seeing that was them doing their Calvin Klein photo shoot, which I could have absolutely done without. Like, show me anything else but them in the underwear doing a photo shoot. I didn't really want to see that. Yeah, they're together and nobody else expected it because honestly, I thought Kwame was going to find out. I thought he was going to use his mother as an out to get out from the marriage. He ended up not doing so. Shout out to him for, I guess he really was in love and we just couldn't see it through what they portrayed to us on the screen. I was wrong. I accept it. Kwame actually made some interesting points because I remember people were giving him grief, especially people from the African community, because his name is Kwame. And, he was saying that in the beginning that he said he almost introduced himself as Alex. But then he kind of cleaned it up and it made sense because, of course, it's Love Is Blind. So saying the name Kwame would have obviously give away the fact that you are black. And you're not really supposed to be giving away, what you look like, so on and so forth. It kind of creates that picture where that's not supposed to be there when you're, doing a Love Is Blind show, a show where you're not supposed to see each other. So I can understand that. I'm here for that. I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm here for that. That's fine with me. And at the end of the day, he ended up going with his actual name anyway. So no harm, no foul, really, in that situation for me. Also, I want to say when they showed up, they did a segment obviously where they showed up their apartments. They had a pretty good apartment. I'm not gonna lie. That panoramic view, I went for it. I'm not gonna lie. That there's some money there. I didn't know it looked like money is there. She. All right, now we're moving on to Micah and Paul. Now, with Micah and Paul, it's a sad story because we know they made it to the altar, obviously, and they didn't ultimately end up saying "I do" to each other. Very strange, in my opinion, that Micah would give that to Paul to say first, but for her own benefit, because if she said "I do" and he's gonna say "I don't," it would have looked worse on her. She probably would have felt worse. So I guess to preserve her own feelings, whatever the case may be. I felt like at the I felt like at the reunion, Micah was trying her hardest to be like so down bad and sad, and like Vanessa Lachey was just eating it up, bro. I'm like, bro, like she sat there for like a solid like 30 to say in 3 minutes is me exaggerating, but it had to be at least an actual solid minute where she was sitting there trying to drum up some tears. Now people bringing her tissues. Like I didn't see one tear fall. Like we just talk. We don't need to see the theatrics. Just talk. It's another situation where I didn't like the way Vanessa was handling this because Josh was sitting there taking accountability for his actions in that moment, and Vanessa was just sitting there prying on a point. Yes, it was a kind of a major point because he said, Micah didn't have like that nurturing aspect to her, which is understandable, but he answered it. Let's move on. Like, why were you such a prying? I don't know. And like I said, I'm a man, so maybe as a woman, y'all could shed some light on why that was so important for her to keep prying at. But it wasn't that deep, in my opinion, especially since they already done said I don't at the altar. It's nothing more for you to really pry at in that particular situation, in my opinion. Oh yeah. We also found out that they briefly dated even after that, which is funny to me because I don't know how people be dating after this whole thing because going through all that and then doing a whole wedding. I mean, I guess it's TV is different, but doing a whole wedding and then to say I say I don't at the altar and then to date afterwards, it's kind of weird to me. But never been in a situation. I don't want to judge too hard, but it would be a no for me. Like we just got to go our separate ways. TV just everybody in the world just saw us. You know what I'm saying? Part ways. It just feels nasty. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. I don't know if I could do it. Y'all let me know if y'all could do it down below. But I couldn't date somebody after I was engaged to them and then said like it just doesn't work out for me. Sorry. All right, so I'm gonna use this photo here because there's no other one on the site, but I'm really using it to talk about Irena. Irena is hilarious because I would not have shown up to this reunion if I was her because she knew what was coming to her. But before we even get into her, I just want to show y'all something funny Netflix did. While we were waiting on, the whole long wait between when it was supposed to actually air and when it aired, one of the tweets they sent out was actually a picture saying this: "Promise, Love Is Blind Live will be worth the wait," with a picture of Irena. Like, they're like, "Yo, don't worry, we gonna cook her. So wait, we're gonna cook her. We're gonna drag her. So don't leave, please." Like that's just funny to me. Like that was like a promotional tactic. Like, hey, let's just let them know that like Irena's here and we're gonna get her. Just make sure you hold on. Like that's so cheesy to me. It's so corny to me. And I feel bad for her. Almost a little bit feel bad for her because I'm just like, damn, you were that bad that people they're using it as a promotional tactic. That's crazy. But to get into it, she showed up. She got blasted. I mean, it was not expected. She had to eat her crow. She made that was her bed. She had to lie in it. You know what I'm saying? So there's not much to really react to. Like I was just kind of sitting back, semi enjoying it, just like because she kind of almost broke down in tears. I'm just like, even though I kind of felt like she was faking it, but it was crazy and not crazy, but it was just it was it was cool to see everybody say their piece on everybody involved, all the parties involved, say their piece on what they felt because think it was a situation where she needed to get that back towards her. Like sometimes in life, things just have to come back and hit you back hard on the chest for you to really feel it and really grow from it. You know what I'm saying? And granted, she said she apologized privately. Some conversations were had privately, but to do it on the reunion stage, just had to be done. We needed to see it as the fans and the viewers, and she needed to feel that as somebody who made other people feel real pain. And to segue into Zach, who's pictured here, of course, Zach was up there being spicy. Zach dropped the bomb on some. Yo, I was told you wanted to be famous. You wanted to be famous. That's why you were here. You never had any intentions of marrying anybody. And she honestly, Irena choked up on that. On not choked up like crying, choked up like she didn't really come back with a response I felt like was valuable enough or powerful enough for me to believe that she didn't really come on there to not, you know, to marry anybody. Maybe she really was there to be famous, and she got a taste of what famous really like. But we're gonna segue into Zach. Zach showed up to the reunion looking like Ben Affleck. And I want to take credit. I didn't tweet it, but I was the first person to actually physically say it. Zach came with a full beard that I didn't know he could even grow. And he looked a lot better than he did on the show. And he looked like Ben Affleck. He definitely was looking like Ben Affleck. But yeah, to get into the couple thing, Zach and Bliss, I'll give it to them, man. I didn't think they could do it. I didn't think they'd even get married. So for them to be married and then happily married on top of that, kudos to them. And it really seems like they're doing well. Now, I need Netflix to stop with the cringe singing. Like, Zach could not sing, Kwame could not sing. Please stop having these people sing. I don't want to hear, like, I walked away from my laptop cringing so hard because I just could not take Zach singing to Bliss. And Bliss is just sitting there so happily in love and just hearing it. I don't know if she knows he can't sing or it's like she really thinks it sounds good. I don't know, but we got to get rid of the singing unless you could really sing. And even then, that's still a little cheesy and corny to me. Like, I could do without it. Y'all could keep that in the clips y'all cut. Like, there's absolutely no reason for that for us as an audience to have to live through that time and time again. I'm sorry. Well, one thing I do want to mention is that I do like how mature Bliss was on stage and seems to be in general with especially with the whole Irena thing. Basically telling, look, I just hope you grow from this, and I hope you understand what you've done to people, and you got to feel that pain the way you're saying when you gave it out. You know what I mean? And she just handled that so maturely, and I was happy to see that because I mean, as much as you sometimes I think you want to see the drama, sometimes you just want to see things put to bed in a respectful way too. Like, I'm on that bed. Like, if you're gonna take it there. But if you're not, then just to respectfully put it to bed, and I'm happy with that. Now, the hottest topic I saved for last. The hottest couple of the night. Hottest is meaning the people that everybody wanted to hear from the most. Marshall, Jackie. Now, to our surprise, Jackie did not show up. She was with Josh. Josh did not show up either. I don't know if Josh was even invited, to be honest. It seemed like there was only one more seat left on that stage, and it looked like it was going to be for Jackie. And she didn't show up for whatever reason. Mind you, after saying she would show up. So that's corny to me because you said you would show up and have all this proof, blase, 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 then you don't show up. And then they get this cop-out interview with her and Josh and Vanessa Lachey, of course, of all people, solo. Not even with Nick, just with Vanessa. And Vanessa asked these questions. I mean, she hit on the tops you wanted to hear, but she didn't press on anything we wanted to hear at all. She just basically let Jackie have her way and have her say, and Jackie was allowed to sit there and double down on whatever without any pushback. So Vanessa Lachey, like I said, she could just not do this anymore. That's fine with me because she just let Jackie get her stuff off, and we didn't really get any real answers from that. And then left Marshall in a position where Marshall was on stage having to respond to a camera instead of responding to the actual person. Who honestly, we really wanted that down. That's what we was mostly tuned in for, that dialogue. We were tuned in for two things, or Irena getting dragged and Jackie and Marshall's back and forth. We were tuned in for that, and we didn't get the latter of that, and we were robbed. As Marshall would say, I was robbed of that. Marshall took the high road on most of this, which is cool. I mean, I guess if nobody's going to be there presently, you might as well take the high road. There's no point in arguing or, saying salacious things to a camera, and then you're going to drag this on social media, so where it's been living already. Leave it alone. He tried to bury it. He took his fault because they brought up the derogatory term, and he took what was his fault. He said he didn't say a derogatory term. He said something that was offensive to Jackie personally, because Jackie for the whole time has been basically calling Marshall gay, essentially calling him sweet or whatever. And the one time it seemed like Marshall said something back to Jackie about her jawline being strong, she had a whole fit, which is typical. It seems it's typical of her character, which is why it's believable. Somebody that dishes it out and can't take it. That seems exactly like Jackie's character. So with that being said, he took full accountability for that, which was good for him. And, that was that. I mean, they showed he had to sit there and watch this corny interview between Vanessa and Jackie and Josh. And, his faces were to die for it, because one thing Marshall going to do was scrunch up his forehead and his eyebrows and make a face. And there were some funny, meme-worthy faces for sure. Now, as for just ended on these two knuckleheads, these two are together apparently. They seem to be moved in. They seem to be happy. Jackie still has the ring for whatever reason. She still hasn't given no good reason to why she still has the ring. And she just has it to have it for whatever reason, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't see why you would keep that. Like, there's no moment, there's nothing to keep from that. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me. And with that being said, I mean, let these two cornballs have their life together and be happy. Like, if they're happy, then be happy. Marshall says he's happy, then we can move on. But yeah, that's my take on the Love is Blind reunion. I'll try to get this out as quickly as possible, just because I know it's a short shelf life for something like this on YouTube. So just trying to get this out as possible. But drop your, critiques of the reaction or your opinions, comments. Like I said, I'm here to have conversation if y'all want to have conversation. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. He ain't